Hi Joshua, thank you so much
Hello.
for coming on Blockchain Rock. So as it is custom here, we'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself, speak a bit about your background, how come you're interested in FinTech, why are you today here at TriTech, what do you think is the potential perhaps between these three jurisdictions, which are for the listeners, well specifically London, although we're talking about the UK, Gibraltar and Israel. So thanks again for being with us and I'll
No
give you the
worries.
floor.
So my background starts off in the Philippines. I'm originally from the Philippines, half Filipino, quarter English, quarter Irish, and I grew up there till I was 18. Went to university at the age of 18, and I just graduated actually in July. So I'm fresh.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm as fresh as it comes. But I started working for Talentio last year as an intern for 6 months, and loved it so much that I decided to come back. I can talk a bit about FinTech specifically for now. So last year, for example, we had an event in Rise, London as well, with a company called Talistix, which is like a blockchain-based company. And a lot of the time, the question on everyone's lips, even at an event that I went to yesterday at the Barclays headquarters, has been how do you build diverse and talented teams within the fintech industry, you know, because
That's a good question.
it's a very interesting question. And a lot of the time you find a lot of fintech companies, especially big corporates, are starting to use AI, involving AI within their actual processes for recruitment. And whilst that's great in terms of, having unbiased opinions about people, to what extent is it actually unbiased?
Exactly. I actually have a question on that, if I can interrupt you a second.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't remember the name now, but I think Microsoft released an AI that was learning of the web, and after just 3 days it became racist.
Yeah.
Or at least what we consider racist.
Exactly.
Like the AI itself did not have morality. So I was actually always interested in if you start adopting AIs in the recruitment process, how unbiased are they? Like, do you have any?
Well, see, this is the thing. I think I must have read something similar as well, especially with the Facebook, Microsoft thing. And at the end of the day, the data, even though it might spread back a couple of years, if you look at the industries within those years as well, let's take the example for race, for example. How many Black, Asian people would have been involved within the big corporations back then?
Yeah.
You know,
Not many.
and that's not really a criticism of anyone really. It's just the way that it has been in the years. So the focus of the AI is very limited in that sense. So it's not really anyone's fault for making a racist robot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just, it just shows how we need to rely on a more human-centric approach with these things, because it's impossible to be unbiased with any form of recruitment. I mean, despite the fact that you might involve AI within your recruitment process, at the end of the day, you still need to have those interviews with people within those recruitment processes as well to make the final decision.
But I'd say that probably bias plays a role in deciding, in discriminating, if you want to put it, not on a racial basis, but on a, behavioral basis, in terms of
100%.
education. Like, you need some bias in order to
100%.
recruit the people that resonates with you.
Yeah.
And about the fintech space, this whole chat started with a question that you brought, and which I find very interesting. How do you build a variety, like a team within a blockchain business, which is varied and which presents different skills? Because right now it's a very novel industry. I guess that the pool of talent is quite limited. So is Talentio assisting in reaching the talent?
I mean, a lot of the questions that I get from fintech startups has been, do they have a background within the finance industry? First and foremost, before they then start to even ask, can they code for a blockchain platform? Have they had experience with blockchain? So you can have different coding languages at the same time, but if you haven't been involved within the finance industry, then sometimes there's no point.
So they expect developers to have some form of financial services experience?
Financial services experience, financial services interest, mainly, I think. But I think it just shows the type of teams that they want to be building within those fintech companies can't just rely solely on coding experience.
Yeah.
I think in a way, it's funny that they've only started so recently, and yet the idea that you need to only have people that can code is such an outdated model now. You get a lot of people that now they want people who want to come into the company to buy into the company culture, to buy into the idea of what they're trying to do, how they're trying to disrupt the space.
Yeah, beyond the role.
Exactly. Like
That's really interesting.
You take examples of like Monzo and Revolut, like they're entrepreneurs first, developers at second, We've been trying to talk to Monzo for a while, so if they ever do see us, please come join us at some point. But yeah, again, I think I'm in a very privileged position to be able to observe from a platform which interacts with different forms of tech and different types of fintech companies specifically, not just payment methods, streamlined investment models, or blockchain necessarily. You know, it's different.
And tell us a little bit about Talent.io. How does it work exactly? Who do you offer services to both ends, employers, and people seeking jobs? How does it?
So
Like what-
we're the leading selective tech talent platform in Europe, and what that means is we're neither a recruitment agency or a job board.
Okay.
We actually streamline the process between companies that are looking for web developers and the web developers that are seeking jobs.
Okay.
But we turn the recruitment model on its head. So the developers themselves can't contact the companies. It's only the companies that can contact the web developers, and that is only because the demand for those developers is so high. So for example, you can be a JavaScript developer with 4 or 5 years of experience. You come onto the platform, you talk to one of our talent advocates who then help you construct a profile based on your experience and where you want to be, what kind of job you want. After half an hour, you put that profile on the platform. It'll be screened by other people within the company, talent advocates specifically, and then they'll say, yes, okay, you fit the bill. We actually do have a lot of people looking for JavaScript developers come onto the platform, and that will happen every week. We have maybe 40 to 70 new profiles coming every week, and I myself handle the client side. I actually encourage people to come join the platform, remain active, have a look at the developers there, because at the end of the day, it doesn't cost anything until you actually hire someone. You know, it's free to request interviews, it's free to view profiles, star profiles, whatever you want to do, and every week you're guaranteed to have, at the very least, 40 new profiles coming in every week.
I see. And just like to bring back the focus on TriTech and on the synergy between these three jurisdictions, how do you think this type of synergic relationship between jurisdiction and stakeholders within industry, within this jurisdiction, benefits the pool of talent that is available, to the companies that are...
I think, again, it just depends where the money is, as very stoic as that might sound. It depends where people focus the value. It depends where they want to be putting the money towards. And obviously, like, for example, you can take Gibraltar, for example. It's a tiny island in the Mediterranean, and yet loads of gaming companies from Israel are starting to make a move towards Gibraltar.
Yeah.
In a way, making it a stepping stone towards the UK market, and vice versa for the UK market to make a stepping stone within Tel Aviv, for example. And I think for TriTech, for example, it's great what they're doing. We were chatting earlier that the bigger that LinkedIn gets, the more you're going to get these specialized B2B platforms sprouting out to have a more specialized focus on a specific area or industry within tech, Yeah. So I think TriTech, what it's doing, I'd like to think, is very much in the same wavelength as us. We want to be the disruptors. We want to be the people that have a different way of doing things and streamline a more specialized service, So I do have high hopes for TriTech, and I'm looking forward to that free membership coming up soon.
Joshua, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on Blockchain Rock.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you here, and we hope to see you soon again.
Perfect. Thank you
All
very
the
much.
best.